Chemmy, thanks very much for joining us here on iSporty TV. You've come in especially, obviously, because only last night you were coming back from the World Championships. How did it go?
Actually, I'm a very positive person, but I have to be hand on heart and say it was a bit of a disappointment. I had 3 big crashes. The only thing I can take from it is I'm not injured and I'm good enough to finish the season, and my aim is to make the World Cup finals, which is top 25. And basically it was going great. I had my career best of 7th, so I'm kind of en route to things, and you know, World Championships is a big thing, but the main thing is the Olympics, and I'm still striving for my gold in that.
And when are the next Winter Olympics?
2010 in the ski racing's in Whistler, which is the most fantastic resort in the world.
So you're already focusing towards 2010?
I think the day after I finished the Olympics this year in Turin, you know, I got my 11th place and that was great, but you refocus straight away and you have a 4-year plan, and you know, you just want to peak for the right time.
So Chemmy, you obviously live in England, but how much of the year do you spend abroad?
I actually live in Austria now. You kind of have to live like the lifestyle I have. I say I'm a nomad because I think I live out the back of my Audi actually. See, all my bags, everything is in there. The toothbrush, yep, that's the spot for that. But you know, I love coming back. I live in Twickenham when I'm back, and I like to be more homebody. But you know, it's too tough right now being a ski racer, and there's a time for that later.
So you find it quite hard being away quite a lot?
Only because I'm the only girl. I'm the only female British skier on World Cup, so sometimes it does kind of get lonely, but I have a lot of great friends. It's a really nice social scene. I used to play a lot of tennis, and I couldn't really handle how competitive it was, you know, directly. It was kind of bitchy, and I couldn't handle that. And skiing is so much more, there's so much more respect for your fellow racers, because if I go down a downhill at 90 miles an hour and someone comes down and beats me by 2 seconds, I've got to go, whoa, good job, you know, I went on my limit, your limit was better today. And I think because of that, and you're kind of racing against the clock and not the other athletes, it's really fun.
So how friendly are you with the other skiers?
My best friend is actually the gold medalist, Julia Mancuso from America. And every time we have a holiday, we go together, and it's just because they understand you the most. I think a lot of British people can't really understand me, not just being an athlete, but being a winter athlete, because they just don't understand. I mean, we've had some snow recently, but they don't think that you could be the best in the world and be a ski racer.
So how did you find out that you were good at skiing? Was it a holiday you took once? How did it happen?
It was kind of pressure from my parents, I have to say. I'm the youngest of 4, and my brothers are already skiing, and basically I was a competitive little girl and I wanted to do anything that they were doing, and my brothers were hurtling down the slope, so I wanted to follow them. And I always say, actually, my mother was a swimmer and my father a rugby player, so I got my dad's glutes and bottom and my mum's lungs, so I was destined to be a ski racer.
Excellent. Now, what about kids out there who may be watching this, who are thinking, you know, skiing is expensive if you have to go abroad, but they really, really love it. How can they even begin to be like you?
I think that's one of my big aims as an ambassador for winter sports, is to show that it doesn't have to be that expensive. You know, there are local centres, there's even indoor snow in Milton Keynes, and just, you don't have to take the big march and run across to Europe and get all the equipment and lug it over there and waste time on doing that. I would go to a local centre or a dry slope and have a go and rent everything and see if it's for you, and then go and have the fun. You know, I think that it's a stage game, and it is the best sport in the world. I'm so lucky to call it my job, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I think everyone should have a go, and it doesn't matter how late you start. Everyone's always saying, oh, I'm 14, is that too late? And I'm like, no, go out there and have fun.
Okay, I'm interested to know about how hard you've got to train in terms of general physical fitness outside of getting the skis on. What do you do to keep fit?
There is quite an aura of ski racers having this après-ski lifestyle of partying and glue vines in the chalets and stuff.
You don't have that?
It's not like that at all, I have to say. In the summer, we'll spend up to 8 hours a day training in the gym. Because skiing,
8 hours in the gym?
It encompasses so much. It's not just lower body anymore. There's so much core work and balance and mobility, coordination, everything. It's a really hard sport to pinpoint, like one training regime. Like everyone always says, what's one exercise? And I'm like, well, in the old days it was squatting, but now there's so much more you need to do. And plus our winters are now 6 months, so you have to have the endurance and the stamina to keep going day after day at altitude.
I mean, it's, you know, you say you're lucky to do it as a job. Obviously many people finish their job at 5 o'clock, go home. This is all consuming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but you know, waking up before the sun rises and getting on those pistes when there's no one out there but me, I wouldn't trade it for anything, and the sacrifices are well worth it.
Chemmy, what's been your highlights so far?
I think the Winter Olympics last year when I came 11th, that was amazing, but not just for, you know, a skiing result. It was the first time my family had all been out there to watch me, and it was quite a tragic time for me because it was the last time my mum ever saw me race. She passed away this summer, and so I've got a real strong memory of that. It's not just a strong happy memory, it's just something that's embedded in my brain as, you know, that is a life situation that I wouldn't trade for anything.
Does that inspire you even more now that you've lost your mum to do it for her?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was younger, a lot of people thought that there was a lot of pressure from my mother, but because she was an athlete and she got injured and maybe didn't get to where she wanted, so it was like they thought that I was doing it for her. And since she's died, I've realised that we had the same dreams. So when I get there on that top of the podium, it won't just be for me, it'll be for her too.
When are you going to get on top of that podium? 2010, what are your aims then, Chemmy?
You know, I'm still relatively young as a ski racer. I'm 24 and the world champion and the Olympic champion was 32, so I've got a long lifeline ahead of me, but I'm quite impatient at the same time. I know what I can do, and every time I disappoint myself and every time I get closer to that goal, it's kind of, you know, give and take and infuriating, and I know that one day everything's going to click, and hopefully 2010 is my day.
Chemmy, we'll be watching. Thank you so much for joining us on iSporty. Thank you.